So what can we learn from studying Jesus' face? Well, I had this kind of weird idea that popped in my head the other day. I don't know where it came from, but I was thinking about Jesus' depictions, the paintings and things like that. And I was like, he always has one expression on his face. And I think this is what triggered me thinking about that was I have a lot of facial tension. I tend to always am like doing this, even though I have great vision. I'm always like squinting. I'm always making weird faces. I'm like trying to avoid stuff. Like I don't know. My face can be very expressive. As you see in my videos, I'm always doing crazy stuff. But I have a lot of facial tension, and it affects my jaw. I have tinnitus. I think there's a reason why I have that, and I think that comes from some of this tension. And just I feel uncomfortable a lot. And so I realized like someone like Jesus, who some say was God himself in human form, if he had full understanding of everything, he's going to have one facial expression, which is like, yeah, everything's okay. And it's like that calm, serene, just like peaceful depiction, at least the paintings and things and how I've seen him. Now, I went and looked up some depictions of Jesus and modern ones now. I have him smiling and doing weird things, but mostly the way that I think of it is just this serene, not sad, not happy, not just kind of relaxed and very accepting and just calm, serene. We talk about the serenity prayer, and God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and that peace that comes along with it. And Jesus's face depicted it. Even if there was, I think I remember seeing him up on a cross, and it's the same face. He's getting crucified, and has the same face, that same calm, serene face. And for myself, I started to realize, well, I'm uncomfortable inside, and that shows on my face through different situations. So like I was saying, if I'm like, oh, that's gross, like thinking about like, oh, my face makes this gross face, right? If I'm sad, oh, I have a sad face. If I'm happy, it's exact, everything. So I have all this wide range, and your face shows what you're feeling. But for me, I think most of it is like this tension and this disgust and this I'm pissed off all the time. And that's, as I've been going through an inventory of myself through the 12 steps here, I noticed that a lot of what it comes out of me is I'm angry, I'm disgusted, I'm pissed off at people, places, things, situations. And when I have started to recently connect to, like I said, learning from looking at Jesus' face and being like, okay, what do I want? I want that serenity. I want that calm. I want that peace. I want that acceptance. And I think of Jesus's face, and I just do that with my face. I try to take a breath and relax and let go of the tension. I feel better. So I know that if I'm feeling calm and serene, my face will show that. But if I'm not feeling calm and serene, I notice my face now. And so I tell my face, just relax, and that helps me feel. So it's kind of, bouncing back and forth where I can get some of these benefits through practicing the face of Jesus. I guess you could call it the face of Jesus. But again, it's like if you knew everything that was going to happen, if you had complete acceptance of everything, would you, oh my God, I can't believe, you wouldn't make these faces. You wouldn't be like, oh, that's so shocking. You'd be like, okay. Maybe the kids today might call it big dick energy. Yeah, everything's okay. It's all good. Oh yeah, you crashed your car? No problem. I lost all my money? Hey, no problem. Everything's good. So that, for me, I have all this tension. I have this tension in my jaw. I have this tension in my head, neck, this whole facial area. I tend to hold a lot of tension. I've been going to an acupuncturist, and I told him about this, and he did some stuff, and it was like a breakthrough because it really helped. When I was going to a chiropractor years ago, he worked on my jaw. And this is when I first found out that I had all this tension in my jaw. I didn't realize he released this tension, and I felt like a new human being. And so for me, I catch myself all the time now, making these weird faces, having all this tension. And I'm like, what am I thinking about? And again, it's that same thing. I'm trying to figure something out. I'm not just accepting things. Why are they doing this? When it's like, who knows? You're never gonna know, especially like driving. Driving is one of those things I've talked about before where I have a hard time accepting. And when other people do weird shit on the road, I'm like, what is going on in your brain? Like, how can you do that? I have to accept. Breathe, relax the muscles in the face, and just let go. And I find that I get that serenity, I get that peace that comes along with that if I'm constantly having this conversation with my face. And then I've also noticed that the feeling, the jaw, the head, my alignment of my jaw, it tends to balance out when I'm in a more calm state. So I've talked about even before about slowing down with your food and chewing your food. That's another thing, right? Slowing down instead of swallow. It's like I tend to always be forcing my way into making things the way that I want them. Like I said, even driving a car, when someone, why aren't you doing exactly what I want you to do? It's unrealistic to living in reality with other people and other things that are out there. It's not going to be your will at every moment. And if someone like Jesus can accept this, who, like I said, some say is God himself, if he can accept reality how it is, why can't I? Now, of course, I'm not going to be like Jesus. I'm not going to be perfect, but I can use that as a beacon, use that as a way to, again, teach myself how to let go of some of this tension physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and just let go and let God, as they say. But for me personally, using that visual that I have of Jesus, of that calm face, it's like everything's okay. God's going to take care of it. And yeah, there's certain situations that you might need to act and and your first response is going to be anger or disgust or whatever it is, but then centering back with what you really want. And what I really want is that serenity and that peace. I thought I wanted happiness. I thought I wanted, excitement and these types of things, but I really want peace and serenity. And so I keep trying to connect to that. I've noticed that already I'm catching myself doing it, like I said, all the time, but I can feel better when I'm driving. I feel better when I'm doing things in just everyday life, training clients, and I don't feel as frustrated when I tell my face, don't be frustrated. I know it sounds weird, but that constant, because sometimes I'm going to be frustrated no matter what. You're going to frustrate me, okay? And I get frustrated a lot. So if I just try to say, don't be frustrated, it's not going to work with me. Whereas if I just go, hey, you're making a frustration face, relax that frustration face, and then like through the reverse way, my frustration goes away. So that's how I've been practicing it, and it's actually been working really well. And so, like I said, for someone like me who wants to control everything around him, that thinks that my way is better than everybody else's way, for me to accept is very challenging. And I do practices and I do prayers and I do things every day to help me accept what's going on in the world. But another strategy, another tool for my tool belt is using my face as a guide. And I catch myself a lot more now. Whereas before I'd be staying in that frustrated state and that face would be twisted for minutes and then maybe an hour. Now I can relax that face when I feel it. And then I get the feeling as well. So it's a two-way street. I can use prayer and I can use, different things to help myself get into a calm state. But in the moment, I can tell my face to relax. And it actually does help. So that's how I've been using the study of Jesus's face to get what Jesus had, which was that acceptance of everything, that acceptance, that serenity, and that peace. They called him the Prince of Peace for a reason, right? So that was just something that I had an idea of. And I think that's all I got for you today. And until next time, I'll see you then.